messages seen, heard, and remembered.
Hurry up. Ring that bell, lady. There you go. Ring that thing. Close that markets. And I'll tell you exactly why I'm saying that. Take a look. Dow Jones Industrial Average down about 600. S&P down 83. NASDAQ down 365. Gold got smacked around, down $125. Silver was also down about $12 to the ounce. Oil down, $1.90, not enough. And more bleeding, so to speak, over in the crypto markets. Bitcoin, wow, down 14%. 63,000 ballpark. Ethereum, 1,800 ballpark. We took out maybe more than years of trading in just a couple of sessions. Here's what you do as a long time. I guess I've weathered a bunch of these little storms. Don't open your account. Don't look at your statement today. Wait till tomorrow and hopefully. Maybe, how's this? Wait till Monday. Have fun over the weekend. Don't even think about it. Open it on Monday and take a look, but it's getting a little ugly. All right, folks. First guest is the CEO and editor-in-chief of Just the News, No Noise. Always great to have my good friend John Solomon with us. John, we'll start with this. Senator Mike Lee and Congressman Chip Roy last week introduced the Save America Act, which adds a voter ID requirement for voting in federal elections. You want to do the soundbite? You tell us what you think of this first. We got a bunch of sound to set it up with, but go ahead, John.
Well, the most important thing is last night at the top of our show right here on Real America's Voice, Steve Scalise came on with Chip Roy and announced that that is going to get a vote in the House next week. That is a rocket docket. It was just introduced on the 29th. It combines two very popular election integrity measures, both which passed the House separately, but now they're combined together. One requires you to show proof of citizenship when you register to vote in a state for a federal election. The other requires you to show a voter ID when you show up to vote or when you submit your absentee ballot. Those two things combined are the best line of defense against non-citizens and inappropriate people voting. The House has passed both of those separately. Now they're going to put them in one big bill, and then they're going to send it over to the Senate and taunt the Senate and try to shame the Senate into some action. And what Steve Scalise said on the show last night is, we want Senate Majority Leader Thune to change the filibuster rules back to the way it used to be for most of American history. No more lazy filibusters. If you're going to filibuster, stand on your feet and talk. And the second you tap out, that's when the filibuster is over. Right now, you just say filibuster and then you don't have to do anything. You just sit around. That was a Mitch McConnell innovation that nobody likes. And so getting that rule to change will put the pressure on the Democrats. At some point, they will tap out. And when they tap out, the filibuster will be over. And this can still get passed in time for the 2020 election. That's what Steve Scalise, the House Republicans, want to do. They got the votes. They're going to pass both of these next week. The ball moves to John Thune's court, and Donald Trump is going to be right on his heels nipping because the president wants this legislation passed.
We can't figure out why Thune has been such. I don't know what he's thinking. Other than he's a rhino, and you can say I'm all for the Trump agenda. Trump said let's do this already, and Thune has been slow walking. If I may, since you brought up the Senate, Chuck Schumer. Yep. This is insane. But take a listen to this.
It has nothing to do with protecting our elections and everything to do with federalizing voter suppression. The SAVE Act is nothing more than Jim Crow 2.0. If the SAVE Act were to become law, online registration by mail, and registration drives would become a thing of the past.
And so he calls it Jim Crow. However, yesterday we saw this, and we played this yesterday. This is amazing. I think this has made the rounds now. CNN had a little different view of the folks who are for and or against illegal voting, or at least using an ID. Listen.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote. So something
what's the political play here, John? I'm trying to figure this out. 82%.
Well, first off,
go ahead.
I doubt that when Chuck Schumer gets on his plane and goes back to New York, he cries voter suppression or Jim Crow when he's asked to put his ID down on a plane ticket. But there is a greater and bigger record. The Democrats ran this scam once before in 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. Remember, they got the All-Star game canceled by the woke MLB. And they said, oh, my God, this voter ID law is going to disenfranchise. You know what happened in Georgia since the voter ID went in? Voting went up. Confidence went up. The more people vote in Georgia now than they did before voter ID. Chuck Schumer could be put into a little can called liar, because on this one, he's not telling the truth to the American people.
But what's the political play? Why do they keep doing this when they see 82% of Hispanics and 76% of African Americans believe you should have an ID to vote? I'm trying to figure the political play out here.
You're racist if you disagree with Ketanji Brown and her behavior. You're racist if you want voter ID. You're racist if you want illegal aliens arrested. Anything that Democrats oppose that's in the mainstream of America that people like cleaning up our streets, they bring out the race card. Americans are tired of it. They don't fall for it anymore. I think Georgia was the last great gasp of boy cry wolf. There's going to be no consequence to Republicans getting this passed. And any Republican in the Senate that doesn't vote for this is really running into a tidal wave of their center middle America. This is not just a conservative issue. There are very few 80% issues in America. This is one of them. No reason this can't get done. And I think the Republicans' best argument to it is to start to call Chuck Schumer and AOC and all those who are playing this card, they're the racists, because they actually think black people aren't smart enough to pull out a driver license or some ID and provide it. I have great confidence that every American is smart enough to get that done. They do it every day at the bar. They do it at the baseball game to get will call tickets. They do it to get on an airplane. Chuck Schumer should be called a racist for creating the soft bigotry of belief that black and Hispanic people can't find a voter ID.
And soft bigotry, I remember that. I remember that phrase. Hey, John, I was watching Besson testify in front of the Senate today. It was fascinating when Elizabeth Warren tried to corner him a little bit, and basically it was a moment to behold. And we're going to play a soundbite. I'd just like to clarify what they're talking about. Elizabeth Warren was trying to say that affordability, Trump promised better affordability the minute he walked into office, and then she had a comparison, and Scott Besson was having nothing of it. Take a listen.
Sure.
Donald Trump has called affordability, I want to get this right, a hoax. He's called it a scam. He's called it a con job. You're the Secretary of Treasury. You know the numbers. Is affordability a hoax, a scam, or a con job?
Senator, it may be a bit nuanced for you, but what President Trump is referring to is the media saying that the affordability crisis was generated by this administration when it was you and President Biden who destroyed the buying power of the American people. So there is an affordability crisis, and you were front and center in it.
It's absolutely incredible that they want to play this affordability. They should be running from this as they could. Go ahead.
Listen, there are some amazing statistics. I mean, this woman is so out of touch. I guess she missed the fact that just earlier this week, some of the major food companies in America said they're dropping prices by 15%. Eggs are down 40%, gas down 12%. All the things that Democrats drove up are coming down on Donald Trump's watch. Now, they went up so high, it's going to take a while for that relief to really begin hitting the table. But they live in a dystopian bubble. They have no idea what's really going on at the dinner table. People recognize that things are getting cheaper. They're not where they need to be, but it wasn't a making of Donald Trump. The improvements are Donald Trump's making, and that is just factually true. You can follow the data sets. There was a 22% increase in inflation on Joe Biden's watch, particularly when it comes to food. That is coming down now, but it takes a long time to reverse the Biden bump in our economy. It was a very bad bump in our economy.
Yeah, I don't need the AI bot to tell me that 9.2% inflation under Joe Biden, where it peaked, and that Donald Trump picked it up, and it's gone down to about 2.7, 2.8%. I don't really need an AI bot to tell me that.
Food prices are slowed down to 2.4%, which is the normal. He's got it back down to the normal.
And guess what?
That's the kitchen table issue.
A gallon of gas is literally under $2.75 around the country, and it peaked at five, not just California, 5 under Joe Biden. They're clueless. They don't understand. And Elizabeth Warren thinks she's some sort of economist, but she's not very good at the math. John Solomon, always good to have you on, my friend, and great stories as always. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to be having you.
All right, folks. The Federal Reserve's latest survey shows banks are tightening lending standards, and many Americans were already feeling the financial squeeze, especially now that the holidays are over. Bills are due. What does this tightening mean for people buried in credit card debt and loan debt? Joining me now is Jillian Barber. You know her from television, but what you may not know is she lived through this kind of financial stress herself. Jillian, great to have you on. January financial awakening. What's going on, so to speak? The bills come due. Tell us about what people are struggling with now.
Scary time of year, and also taxes right around the corner. And this is something that Americans are dealing with, trying to put food on the table as we, go through life. And if you don't have that little extra treasury of a nutshell for an emergency, let's say it's death in the family or it's disease, maybe job loss, sometimes all of these things happen to you at once, which was my case. And when that hits, and if you don't have all of that safety net around you, the rug gets pulled. And that's why Done with Debt is a place that I want Americans to know they can go to for help. What is Done with Debt? Well, they're basically a team of negotiators that will work for you and on your part to lessen your debt. They don't want to put you in bankruptcy, number one. They also don't want to do one big sort of umbrella loan that you are under and you're still feeling that black cloud, because believe me, debt is that black cloud, whether it's in the form of a phone call or harassing mail, it's always over you. So what they'll do is they'll form a team, and immediately those phone calls stop, the letters stop. They work with the companies, be it banking institutions or credit card companies. They know your financial situation, and they'll work with you. They'll work with there are like literally a go-between. So you don't have to deal with all of that. Well, they're working hard as master negotiators to put your life back in order financially. You can just live your life on the daily, and you have nothing to lose. I didn't know about them for the first year and a half of my situation. I wish I did, because I was living with complete anxiety, waking up at 3 a.m. and I was going through chemo at the time, not to add insult to injury, but I was. And so it was just like your life implodes and you're thinking, this is the absolute end. I'm raising 2 kids on my own. It was the darkest time, absolutely. But that was the extreme end of it. There are people that are in debt for $10,000, and that's brutal enough. They are incredible people. And what they'll tell you to do right now, if you are in this sort of situation, is to not pay another bill, to go to donewithdebt.com and see what they can do. It's a free consultation. They'll sort of walk you through the steps that it will take, the next step, so to speak. And some people have, it changes, it's a life changer. Some people at the end of the day end up walking away with money in their pocket that they never saw coming. Some people it balances out their debt. Some people just walk away with all of that lifted, which was my case, and that, you can be present again, because it's the one thing financially you feel completely, unrooted. And then also emotionally, you're unrooted, right? So debt has a way of working on both sides of you that, you're never present. You're never in the moment. You're constantly thinking, and they know that, right? So that's what their intention is to get you back on track financially and truthfully, mentally, because it's, that's what happens to you.
Jillian, it's kind of like you're allowed to represent yourself in the court of law. It's highly, highly ill-advised to do so. The court knows it. Everyone knows it. You got to hire the lawyers for the important ones. It's about the same thing. Jillian, really good to have you. Donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com. They'll help you out, folks. Figure it out. This is a good time to do it. Jillian, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, folks, we'll be back 2.5 minutes.
This holiday season, Real America's Voice is proud to partner with our friends at Angel Studios for a special giveaway you won't want to miss. As they launch season 2 of their hit series Homestead, we're giving you the chance to win an exclusive Homestead hat absolutely free. Everyone who becomes an Angel Guild member using our link is automatically entered to the contest. When you join, you're supporting meaningful pro-American storytelling, and you're supporting RAV at the same time. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or text the word RAVANGEL to 75802. After you scan or text, make sure you follow the steps provided. When you complete the steps and join the Angel Guild, you'll be automatically entered to win that exclusive homestead hat, a perfect holiday gift for yourself or someone you love.
Be one of the first 50 people to sign up and win a hat automatically. Hurry while there's still time.
So scan that QR code or text RAVANGEL to 75802. Happy holidays from all of us at RAV.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
Flash a source in the chat. I love Real America's Voice because I can watch news being delivered to me live while I chat with the family I love.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
Every day, Americans make choices that shape our country's future. Right now, which cell phone provider we should support. Here's what most people don't realize. Patriot Mobile isn't just a wireless provider. They're an activist organization funded by selling top-tier cell phone service. They've been on the front lines defending our freedoms long before it was cool, standing in the gap when others wouldn't. The best part is they deliver prioritized premium service on all 3 major U.S. networks, giving you the same or even better coverage, backed by, get this, and this matters a lot, folks, by 100% U.S.-backed customer support. How many times you picked up the phone and get someone who doesn't even understand what you're saying and you can't hear what they're saying back? Not with them, not with Patriot Mobile. All U.S.-based customer support. Get unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, and more. And when you switch to Patriot Mobile, you'll help grow a movement that fuels the Christian conservative causes. Every bill you pay helps advance the values of faith, family, and freedom. Switching is easier than ever. Activate in minutes. You can keep your number and keep your phone, or you can upgrade. Take a stand today. Go to patriotmobile.com/RAV or call 972-PATRIOT, 972-PATRIOT, and use promo code RAV for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/RAV or call that number, 972-PATRIOT. It's very easy. Make the switch today. All right. Wait just a minute. Just a second here. What is this? What in the Jim Crow is happening right here?
Oh, you bet you're right. Hold on. I got my driver's license. Here you go.
They're making this man show a government-issued identification card to vote in America? How dare they? What a disgusting display of racism, making this poor man show his ID to carry out one of the most important democratic actions in America. This is madness, I tell you. This is a violation of civil rights, and we just simply won't stand for this anymore. We're okay with showing proof of vaccination just to get into a restaurant. That we fully understand. We understand that you have to show an ID, a government-issued ID, a driver's license, to operate a vehicle. We get that too. But having to show a government-issued ID to prove that you are actually who you are, that you have the legal right to vote in our elections, well, that's just preposterous. It's even racist. So very racist. This is America, isn't it? Well, apparently Democrats need a little reminder. Democracy, republic, Constitution. They used to care about that stuff, but they don't anymore. Chucky Schumer not only has zero regard for the Constitution and for the sanctity of our voting process, he also apparently doesn't care about the shared opinion by a majority of Americans. Over 70% to be exact, maybe even pushing 80%, who actually think it's perfectly normal that Americans should have to show a government-issued ID to vote in our own elections. But Chuck says, nah, Jim Crow 2.0.
71% of Democrats like this idea, so why do you not?
It's Jim Crow 2.0, and I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting. For instance, if you change, you're a woman who got married and changed your last name, you won't be able to show ID and you'll be discriminated against. If you can't find a birth certificate or a proper ID, you'll be discriminated against. This is vicious and nasty. And I said to our Republican colleagues, it will not pass the Senate. You will not get a single Democratic vote in the Senate. We're not reviving Jim Crow all over the country.
Well, not him saying Jim Crow. Well, maybe it's someone else saying totalitarianism.
Simply a step toward totalitarian and authoritarian effort to suppress the vote. And it goes along with his seizing election machines and voting rolls, imposing citizenship tests, a series of actions that are designed to suppress and maybe stop the vote.
Goodness gracious, are they that desperate? Or what? They need those illegal votes so very badly. Well, they know it. The multi-pronged approach is kind of impressive, though, isn't it? Checking off the usual Democrat tropes. So it's Jim Crow, it's totalitarianism. Apparently, it's racist because minorities aren't capable of getting an ID. That is just racist. That thought alone is racist. Imagine how crazy it is, how insulting it is for white Americans to walk around speaking on behalf of minority Americans saying that they don't think voter IDs are okay because minority Americans simply aren't smart enough to obtain a federal ID. Think about how demeaning, how racist that is. And yet they do it almost like it's sport.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out
all
there.
These white people, even that white chick, the black people don't have knowledge of how it works. How demeaning is that? Party of racism, anyone? Right there. Let's unpack that, shall we? Minority voters can't get federal IDs because, and these are their words, not mine, to be clear, minorities live in some outskirt of society where modern things like federal offices and the internet don't exist. Pretty interesting. Okay, minorities apparently don't know how to go online. I guess those white folks right there and white Democrats. Okay, they got phones, but they can't afford to use them. And one of my favorites, minorities just don't know what's going on. So in case there was any question as to what these liberals actually think about the minorities in America, well, they think they're inept members of society. And here's what they think about that.
Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID.
Oopsie, Democrats. What's crazy is these Democrats actually once cared about protecting our elections. Once upon a time, there was some semblance of caring about protecting one of the most important institutions in America, the right to vote. Joe Scarborough used to be on the side of common sense, used to be.
Tonight, we look at the left coast's most endangered politician, Governor Gray Davis, and his Democratic Party's latest attempts to show illegal aliens that crime pays. The Democratic legislature has actually passed a bill out of committee that allows illegal immigrants to get a California's driver's license. That's right. And by giving these criminals the most accepted form of identification in America, the California Democrats buy votes for themselves, and it looks like, to me at least, that political gamemanship is trumping national security. As illegal immigrants are given a free pass, this plan seems to me to legitimize illegal immigration once and for all. And it's dangerous, and it owes more to winning votes for politicians than keeping our country safe from future terror attacks.
That's when he said he was a Republican. He still says he's a Republican. He's full of crap. But the SAVE Act would solve the problem, Joe. But the SAVE Act scares the living bejesus out of this losing party of theirs. The Democrats. Should be simple, right? Obvious and simple. The vast majority of Americans, including a clear majority of Black and Latino voters, 75 and 82% respectively, they want voter ID laws. The SAVE Act would enshrine that in federal law and protect lawful voting. But Democrats refuse, calling it suppressive. The only thing it's suppressive of is their ability to cheat in elections. That's it. It's the political version of the IKEA manual says the shelf goes that way, but I feel it should go this way instead. And then you have a shelf that's facing the wrong way. Meanwhile, reality and most of the country politely waits with the government-issued ID in hand. If Democrats really don't want voter ID, they should just be honest and come out and speak the truth instead of insulting so many Americans. Just admit it. Yeah, we personally oppose voter ID because the numbers say we'd rather not. It would be the first time they would actually tell the truth in a long time. Instead, we get a pathetic performance that feels like watching someone insist the sky is purple while squinting directly at the sun, and the typical Democrat play-by-play at a 2007 congressional hearing on voter fraud legislation. Then Senator Barack Hussein Obama said, and I'm quoting, "If you're not eligible, by definition, you don't get to vote." Protecting lawful votes shouldn't be controversial, even if some Democrats still pretend that it is. Boom. Period. All right, check this out. Last week's episode, we talked about Of the Edge, the dark side of longevity labs. Well, this morning sitting at 130,000 views, ballpark. And that's actually more than a News Hacks cable news channel show. Think about that. And guess what? It's not a one-off. Total channel views are approaching 650,000 views, 5 months in, less than 5 months, more than 26,000 watch hours. And YouTube itself flags those numbers as elite level performance. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you stop chasing outrage and start talking about pressure, health, money, and power. And more importantly, how to harness those things. That's what The Edge is. What we're not politics. We're not gimmicks, and we certainly aren't influencers pretending to be experts, just real conversations with real people, real athletes, real physicians, real successful men who actually know the terrain. If you want to surface noise, there's plenty of that out there. You can go anywhere. If you want clarity under pressure, hit that subscribe right there. Take your phone, aim it, or go to YouTube. Go to the search box in YouTube, or just search it in Google, Eric Bolling and The Edge. Use them both, and you'll take it right to The Edge. We want you part of this momentum, part of this movement. Thank you for watching Rav. Thank you for watching Bowling at 4 on Rav. And thank you for getting over there and subscribing to The Edge. You won't be disappointed, I promise. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.
There are few things more aggravating than seeing your tax dollars wasted by the government. All too often, when big government tries to save the day, the funds sent around the world to help people in need are diverted by corrupt leaders to line their own pockets, enrich their cronies, or further an agenda that has nothing to do with helping their countrymen. You can do a better job at promoting freedom than any government can. Scan the QR code now or visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV today to join the worldwide freedom movement. With your gift of just $19 a month, we'll send you an Atlas Network exclusive hat. Plus, we'll send the print edition of our Freedom's Champion magazine to your door. We identify, train up, and celebrate local leaders as they work to make freedom a reality across the world. Our partners often risk everything: their reputations, their livelihoods, even their lives to fight for freedom in places where authoritarianism reigns. Visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV or scan the QR code to join our mission to help pro-freedom organizations around the world. Donate $19 a month to receive your exclusive Atlas Network hat. Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
time. And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
This is Tim King, also known as USS Malik, and I love Real America's Voices for its like-minded programming and the chat. Love you guys.
Flash a source in the chat. I love Real America's Voice because I can watch news being delivered to me live while I chat with the family I love.
So a lot of you are asking what happened. Little surgery up here for basal cell, whatever, and the swelling is getting all over the place. I've never missed a show, not once in the coming up on a year here. I'm not going to do it for this. Just saying. Lots of people talking about it. All right, international disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There's a never-ending list of reasons why gold has risen 700% in the last 20 years. It's up $1,500 an ounce in the last year alone. Never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with the Birch Gold Group. More than any other commodity on earth, gold thrives under uncertainty, which is why it's a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold as a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you, too. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text the word America to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. No obligation, just useful information. And get this, with an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold so you too can have peace of mind regardless of global uncertainty. Text the word America to 989898. Again, that's America to 989898. Do it today. So the Washington Post announced massive layoffs. 500-600 people getting laid off because media is a business, which these snowflakes seem to have forgotten. You see, these Democrat Party stooges thought they could just keep coasting, peddling anti-America, anti-Trump leftist BS, and continue to get paid to speak only to the Trump derangement syndrome-laced echo chamber. Still, there are a lot of tears.
Hi, all. I'm taping this while it's a little raw, but I was laid off from the Washington Post today along with around 300 of my other colleagues.
Business, free markets, that's what it's all about. And of course, Nancy Pelosi took this moment to make it something else entirely. The woman who helped cover up for Biden's dementia and then conducted a coup to remove him as a presidential candidate wants to cry about a so-called dying democracy.
Today, we saw painful layoffs at the Washington Post, part of a broader reprehensible pattern in which corporate decisions are hollowing out newsrooms across the country. When corporate interests gut local, national, and international journalism, communities lose watchdogs, truth loses megaphones, and democracy loses guardians. A free press cannot fulfill its mission if it is starved of its resources it needs to survive. And when the newsrooms are weakened, our republic is weakened with it. Because democracy dies in darkness.
It also dies with biased reporting. It's supposed to be journalism where both sides are represented. Speaking of so-called journalists who were thrown out by their biased organizations, this Trump invariant of winners, Joyless Joy, racist-baiting Joy Reid, Jim Acosta, and terrorist-loving Mehdi Hassan just can't stand that CNN actually has someone on their air who doesn't just simp for liberal causes.
No, I mean, if Scott Jennings worked for me, I'd fire his ass. I would not want him on my show or my network.
Yeah, because you can't have a dissenting voice. You can all just yell into the echo chamber. That's what the leftist media does. Look, this is why if Trump does something I disagree with, tariffs, whatever, I speak up. You guys get mad at me. I don't care. I still speak up. You have to show all sides. You have to be true. Just be honest. Be real. Real America's voice. Joyless Joy Reid, clearly already gearing up for a J.D. Vance run in 2028 because the slander is on full display already.
This guy scares me more than Trump, to be honest, because I think Trump as being a self-absorbed goof.
Yeah, a useful idiot, I think.
Idiot whose narcissism and sort of almost self-loathing because he was never a legitimate billionaire. All he wants is to be a king and to be a billionaire. Being president gave him the kingdom and gave him billionaire status off of these Bitcoin schemes. He's living his best life now, and then he wants revenge against everyone who was ever mean to him. He's Charlie from the Star Trek episode. And that's all he is. He's a simple man with not a lot of complex views. Vance has complex views, and they are frightening. And this guy would implement Project 2025 on purpose, not Trump doing it by accident.
Project 2025, you're still on that? You blamed Trump. He said he was going to implement Project 2025, and then he said he wasn't for it, and then he became president, and he still hasn't mentioned it. You guys are really, really reaching. Meanwhile, Squadster Rashida Tlaib doing the Democrats' song and dance on the House floor about how ICE is all about violence and racism for just doing their jobs with a fancy little poster behind her. Funny, I don't recall her putting up a poster of all the people illegals have killed and raped in America.
That's what the American people are doing right now in the streets of America. That's what they're using to protect themselves. Whistles and their cameras. That's what they're doing against a fascist army. Speaker Johnson says, quote, ICE is doing what ICE is designed to do. That's what he said. How many more of our neighbors have to be executed? How many more of our neighbors have to be killed? I refuse to send another dollar to the Department of Homeland Security. My residents don't want their tax dollars going to execute people in the streets, abduct 5-year-olds. This is an agency that was created to do what it's doing now. It is built on violence and racism.
Did you hear that last one, abduct 5-year-olds? It's been debunked several times, Rashida Tlaib. And what about all those young, beautiful little American citizens that these illegals have raped, they've killed? They're running people over, and they're drunk running people over, killing American citizens in their cars, in their trucks. It's insane. You don't remember them? That's not who you don't care about them? Don't your constituents care about them? Rashida Tlaib? I've said it before, I'll say it again. Democrats are the party of violence, and they're not even hiding it. Apparently, Democrat LaMonica McIver thinks it's a part of her job as a congresswoman to assault federal officers. We sincerely hope she isn't making that point a part of her defense.
As I've stated from the beginning, I claim my innocence. I was there to do my job. I was not there to protest, to do anything other than going there to make sure that I was protecting the people that I serve and making sure that I was having oversight. And so, at the end of the day, this administration will not intimidate me or bully me out of doing my job. I plan to continue to do that and protect the people of New Jersey from this administration, including Homeland Security and ICE.
What happened in New Jersey? It's always been liberal, but it's getting worse and worse. Folks, we'll be back 2.5 minutes.
There are few things more aggravating than seeing your tax dollars wasted by the government. All too often, when big government tries to save the day, the funds sent around the world to help people in need are diverted by corrupt leaders to line their own pockets, enrich their cronies, or further an agenda that has nothing to do with helping their countrymen. You can do a better job at promoting freedom than any government can. Scan the QR code now or visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV today to join the worldwide freedom movement. With your gift of just $19 a month, we'll send you an Atlas Network exclusive hat. Plus, we'll send the print edition of our Freedom's Champion magazine to your door. We identify, train up, and celebrate local leaders as they work to make freedom a reality across the world. Our partners often risk everything: their reputations, their livelihoods, even their lives to fight for freedom in places where authoritarianism reigns. Visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV or scan the QR code to join our mission to help pro-freedom organizations around the world. Donate $19 a month to receive your exclusive Atlas Network hat. Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
This is Tim King, also known as USS Malik, and I love Real America's Voices for its like-minded programming and the chat. Love you guys.
Flash a source in the chat. I love Real America's Voice because I can watch news being delivered to me live while I chat with the family I love.
Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
I wrote all the verses in like an hour, like a genie out of a bottle.
This will be the day that I die.
I knew I had a tiger by the tail. Everything took off like a rocket.
It went to #1 so fast.
American Pie blew up the world. One day I opened the paper up and there was this story. Buddy Holly was now dead. The happy 50s were over. We had assassinations, the war in Vietnam. The country was in psychic shock.
With the turmoil today, American Pie is still very up to date.
All right, let's bring our next guest. He learned of the death of Buddy Holly while on his paper route February 3rd, 1959. 12 years later, he wrote an anthem in tribute to Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Popper, who were killed in that plane crash. American Pie went to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart on January 5th, 1972, and remained there for 4 weeks. Now, 55 years later, we're still celebrating American Pie. Happy to have singer, songwriter Don McLean with us. Don, congratulations on what a resilient, what a lasting song. I was fascinated by one of the lines you said in there. You wrote it very fast, and it just kind of rolled off your paper and your pen, and you knew it was going to be a hit. Tell us about how'd you know?
Well, you never know anything in this business. This was a personal thing. I wanted to write a big song about America, and that movie that you showed excerpts from is a wonderful documentary about the song, because I realized, I didn't even know this until I made the movie, that I actually was working on this for over 10 years. Starting with the death of Buddy Holly when I was a paper boy. I was only 13 at the time. And I kept that in me all the time and was fascinated by it. And I later on went to college, and all these things happened in the 60s. I was working on this and thinking about it and doing many, many other things. And then one day I remember I was at the Newport Folk Festival, and I met Phil Everly. And the Everly Brothers were very close to Buddy Holly, very close. And I asked him about what those events, and he said, well, Buddy went ahead to do his laundry. And, of course, we didn't really know how horrible this tour was that he was on in these school buses with people getting frostbite and singing every single night. And Buddy was only on the tour because they were keeping his money back, trying to make him come back to Clovis and be like he was before, but he didn't want to. He wanted to do something new. So I suddenly realized that this was a person, a struggling young musician. And it started the wheels rolling again, and that's when I wrote the first part of this song. But I didn't move on that for months. I thought it was so beautiful, and I finally captured something about that event that I had thought about for so long, and then the rest of it followed when I began to really contemplate everything. And the nice thing about this song is there was, and the movie will show you this if you ever see it. There were so many things that had to be overcome, that I had to overcome in order to get this record made. And I can't go into all of them, but it's a miracle that it was made and that it happened. One thing after another happened to wreck my plans, and still I persevered because I was so dogged about it. I wanted to have this. And we finally made a really good record, and United Artists put it out, and it became, bam, it just went right to the moon. Timing. But people started asking questions, about Buddy Holly and the United States and everything. So it's been doing its job ever since.
Don, I've been reading up on the song. I've listened to it for ages in college. It was an anthem in my college years. Rolling Stone called it a requiem for America's lost unity and dreams. That sounded so today. I'm like, wow, he was prescient 55 years ago. And is it also that, not just an anthem to the memory of Buddy Holly and the others?
Oh, it's much bigger than Buddy Holly. But Buddy Holly's painful demise and the rock and roll, the story of rock and roll is the beginning. You're way in, kind of down the rabbit hole into this story about events that followed. Prior to that, in my world anyway, we had a wonderful, happy world. Doors were open. Everybody knew each other, like you didn't even think about crime or criminals or anything like that. And then since then, down we go with the things deteriorating. And I think that you really have to believe in something if you want to hold society together. And churches have let us down, schools have let us down.
Governments,
architects have let us down.
Government
put up these terrible buildings. Yeah, governments. Oh yes, and it's just, and still we continue on because somewhere inside us we really want to get back to that good feeling again. Everybody does.
It's a great feel-good song, Don. It's a great feel-good song. I just want to throw this out there. I'm glad it means something because for years, Hotel California was one of my favorite songs. I would listen to it, and it was like almost a death dream sequence to me. Like I just envisioned Don Henley writing it and them singing about what a rock star would go through after death. And then I saw an interview with Henley, and he's like, "Nah, it's just it was just about the times." Like I was like so let down. I'm glad this means something. Where apply this to now? I mean, we're seeing what's going on with all this craziness going on around the country with protests and rioting and people dying. Should people be listening to American Pie and maybe kind of get a grip, or is it telling you that this was going to happen all along and you saw it coming?
I saw something coming. It seems somewhat apocalyptic, and it seemed also like we were getting away from believing in something. Even if we just believed in ourselves, we're such victims today. Nobody wants to say, I'm not a victim. I was brought up in the 50s. If anything ever happened to me, I would never say I was a victim, ever. And yet that seems to be, everybody wants a crutch to lean on. Oh, I have this and I have that and I have this problem and that problem. Hey, suck it up, and be happy to be alive. There's so much going on in the world that's wonderful. And don't concentrate on, accentuate the positive, as Johnny Mercer once said in a beautiful song. They weren't kidding. They had to get through the Depression and World War II. So, we haven't had it that tough.
Yeah, I want to get to so much more. I'd love to have a lot more time with you, Don. Unfortunately, we don't. You're going to be touring. You're also going to do a dedication. Tell us about the dedication in 2027 about the death of Buddy Holly and Ritchie Valens and Big Popper.
Yeah, there's going to be a statue at the Surf Ballroom. The Surf Ballroom has been very anxious to do something for me because of what American Pie meant to them and to the whole memory of Buddy Holly, and so they have partnered with a really tremendous sculptor, Zenos Frudakis, and on February 3rd of next year, you're going to have a 7-foot sculpture probably outside in front of the Surf Ballroom of me, and hopefully that will lead to some of these very wealthy rock stars putting up some money to put the statues up of the Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly, and there'll be a sculpture garden of some sort at the Surf Ballroom, which hopefully this will be the first one. And it will be another added reason to stop off in Clear Lake and see this.
Sir, before we go, Real America's Voice you're on right now. Real America's Music, RAM, R-A-M. Brand new record label here at RAV. Tell us, give the folks who are running the record label a little advice on what talent and what record labels need to do to be successful.
Record labels? Record companies had a whole, they were artists. They knew who their artists were. They built an artist. They built an artist. Columbia Records built Bruce Springsteen. They built Johnny Mathis. They built these artists, and they were at the very top for decades, not only because they were very talented, but because they had these companies behind them. Record companies, big companies like that, did not support rock and roll acts. Buddy Holly was on Coral Records or Brunswick, which was a very small independent part of Decca, and all the rest of them, Cadence Records, which is owned by Archie Blyer, that was where the Everly Brothers were. He sold millions of records, but Elvis, because the Colonel was a very good manager, put him on RCA Victor Records. RCA Victor made sure that Elvis never had an empty seat in any house that he ever played, and they kept their boy, up there where he deserved to be.
Talent. I think the moral of the comment is make sure the record label supports the talent, because after all, they are bringing the sales to. Hey, guys, folks watching right now, you can go to donmclean.com, donmclean.com for the tour dates. It's going to be California, Florida, Indiana, New York, and Las Vegas coming up. Don, congratulations on the success of the song, and good to have you on Real America's Voice, and maybe get you on Real America's Music someday, maybe a brand new record label.
Happy to do it. Really nice to talk to you. We could have a little wider discussion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. All right, folks. We'll be back. 2.5 minutes.
This will be the day that I die. Now for 10 years we've been on our own, and moss grows fat on a rolling stone, but that's not how it used to.
There are few things more aggravating than seeing your tax dollars wasted by the government. All too often, when big government tries to save the day, the funds sent around the world to help people in need are diverted by corrupt leaders to line their own pockets, enrich their cronies, or further an agenda that has nothing to do with helping their countrymen. You can do a better job at promoting freedom than any government can. Scan the QR code now or visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV today to join the worldwide freedom movement. With your gift of just $19 a month, we'll send you an Atlas Network exclusive hat. Plus, we'll send the print edition of our Freedom's Champion magazine to your door. We identify, train up, and celebrate local leaders as they work to make freedom a reality across the world. Our partners often risk everything: their reputations, their livelihoods, even their lives to fight for freedom in places where authoritarianism reigns. Visit atlasnetwork.org/RAV or scan the QR code to join our mission to help pro-freedom organizations around the world. Donate $19 a month to receive your exclusive Atlas Network hat. Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
online. And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
This is Tim King, also known as USS Malik, and I love Real America's Voices for its like-minded programming and the chat. Love you guys.
Flash a source in the chat. I love Real America's Voice because I can watch news being delivered to me live while I chat with the family I love.
From powerhouse vocalist Natasha Owens, known for standout singles like Trump One and Somali Waltz, comes her brand new release, The Boss, released on Real America's Music, the label built to amplify unapologetically American voices. The Boss gives a voice to everyday Americans and reminds listeners who truly shapes the future. Not the elites, not the gatekeepers, but the people. Now it's your turn. The Real America's Voice audience has the power to move charts and shake the industry. Push it up the charts. Make them notice.
Download The Boss tonight at midnight. Let's do this together.
All right, download it. Let's get this thing. Let's get going. It's a great song. You got to hear it. The lyrics are really, really awesome. Taking shots at The Boss, Springsteen. All right, folks, today we follow up on the success of the Longevity Lab episode on The Edge with another conversation with my guy, Dr. Todd. This one might make you a bit uncomfortable because we're exposing the dark side of your nutrition labels. The foods being sold to you as healthy, balanced, and nutritious may be doing the exact opposite of what you think, what you're eating, what you're feeding your kids, what you're trusting because the label sounds right might actually be killing you. Not in 10 years, right now.
Apricots would be a good choice. Anything with the word berry, blueberry, raspberry, blackberry, whatever, those are low in sugar, high in fiber, but they're still, a fruit and they taste great. Now, if you compare that to something like watermelon, for example, you're definitely getting a lot more sugar. So it's great to eat fruits. They have lots of other benefits, but you can't overdo it.
This episode, we just dropped it this morning, breaks down how labels are engineered, how ingredients are disguised, and why the system rewards confusion, not actual health. Not for you. This is definitely not fear porn, not clickbait. It's information you're supposed to have and probably never get. Dark Side of Nutrition label. Must see episode. Watch it today. Just go to that thing right there. Aim your camera right at that QR code, or go to YouTube. Hit the search box, Eric Bolling, The Edge, or in Google, Eric Bolling, The Edge on YouTube. Subscribe, please. We really appreciate you for being here at RAV. Keep it here at RAV all day long. Appreciate you at 4 o'clock watching bowling, and I definitely appreciate if you subscribe to The Edge. It's growing fast. You won't be disappointed. Mad Dog, got some time for maybe a voicemail or two, quickly.
Yes, sir. This is Al has something to say about Trump's EO getting blocked.
Hello, this is Al from Eastern Tennessee. I just saw that a federal judge blocks Trump executive order requiring proof of citizenship to vote. Why is this EO not codified into law? Congress needs to get their act together. And two, how come Trump, Kristi Noem, and Tom Homan have not announced policy that any illegal alien that voted will be deported? This should be ongoing policy. This should be communicated and broadcasted directly into the illegal alien population. Midterms are just around the corner. We need to get this done. Please get Tom Homan on your show to discuss this policy alone, this request that any illegal alien who voted or will vote will be deported, issued ICE removal orders, etc. This must be communicated. and put into policy. Thank you.
All right, really good comment. By the way, sir, we've been saying this for a long time. I had the idea of exactly that. You catch an illegal voting, you not only deport him or her, deport their family, and by the way, you slam the door saying you were never going to be invited, you're never going to be allowed to present yourself for asylum here in America or to get citizenship. I agree with that completely. Get home and on if we can, if we want to. I agree with you. As far as your EO not getting codified, there's tons. Most of his EOs aren't codified because Mike Johnson won't bring it to the floor to vote because these rhinos in D.C. don't want to show their hand because there will be some Republicans who don't want to screw up their ability to get reelected, and so they're not going to vote for some of the things that Trump wants. And that's literally the issue. They really got to get your Congress people to call Mike Johnson and also have your senators call John Thune. Deliver the Trump agenda, guys. That's what you're there for. You got elected. He's the elected president. Deliver it.